Hello everyone, this is part 19 of What If Naruto was trained by Anko, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Naruto frowned, he couldn't believe the favoritism Sasuke had been shown. Had it been him or any other genin, they would have been disqualified for not showing up on time, but since he was a Uchiha they allowed him to postpone his match. He looked towards the balcony where Sandaime was seated and saw that he too wasn't happy at having to allow the match to be postponed. Naruto knew that his Chichen would never allow something like that without a very good reason, but he was still a little mad about it. Naruto-kun, be careful, okay? I don't care if you lose the match, but I don't want you to get hurt. Anko whispered softly. She was worried about her lover's match and even more worried about what might happen afterwards if there was an attack. Don't worry, Anko-chan, I'll be fine, I promise. I will win this match and show Gaara that he's not a monster. Naruto before giving her a firm hug and a small kiss. He didn't care who saw it, he loved her and he wanted to reassure her. He started making his way down when he saw that Gaara had already gone down. He smiled at his friends and entered the field ready to fight an incredible opponent. He was feeling nervous, but at the same time he was excited at facing Gaara. He would have to fight without holding back and the adrenaline was intoxicating. When he reached the middle of the field, Gaara looked at him and started talking. Show me Uzumaki, show me that what you said is true. Hopefully you will be a challenge unlike the other weak genins in Konoha. Gaara said, already releasing a massive amount of intent which was felt by everyone in the stadium. No need to try and scare me by releasing that much intent, Gaara, I won't run away. I'll show you what a true shinobi is and I will defeat you. Naruto said while clenching his fists. Genma had been amazed at the intent the sooner shinobi had been able to release, and it was getting to him since he was so close, but when Naruto spoke the feeling of impending doom seemed to disappear. He shook his head and asked them if they were ready to start the match. Both genins nodded and Genma raised his hand saying that when his hands come down the match would start. Everyone in the stadium watched with anticipation as Genma's arms came down, and not even a second later Naruto appeared in front of Gaara throwing a punch at his face. Gaara's sand just shot up, blocking the attack and made Naruto jump back. Like I thought. That sand of yours is going to be a major pain in the ass. Naruto said, but Gaara just stood still and seemed to ignore Naruto's words. Gaara's sand just seemed to move on its own, and several tentacles of sand moved at high speed towards Naruto, forcing him to duck and evade them. When one of the tentacles crashed into the wall, almost destroying it, Naruto avoided them as much as possible. After evading the sand for a few minutes, Naruto was getting tired of running away and decided to do some attacking of his own. While he ran across the field, he started doing some hand seals and started gathering some chakra. He changed directions and went straight to Gaara, only to jump up when another tentacle came straight at him. While he hadn't planned to jump this early, it worked out fine and he did the last seal before exhaling dozens of tiny fireballs. Kaiten, Ryusei Haratsu no Jutsu, and the dozens of fireballs impacted around the field and Gaara before they exploded, causing dust to cover the arena. Naruto knew, however, that this jutsu wouldn't hurt Gaara, it was merely a distraction for the next part of the plan. A few moments later the dust cleared and the crowd could once again see into the arena. They saw Naruto standing there like he was waiting for something. When they saw him looking straight in front of him, they saw Gaara standing there protected by his sand, not even a scratch on him. Naruto just grinned and started advancing towards Gaara while evading the sand that shot at him from all directions. He kept running straight at Gaara, who was kind of surprised to see the blonde coming straight at him, but in the end it didn't matter to him. If the fool wanted to rest so badly, he would indulge him. When Naruto was only a reaching distance away, Gaara sent a new tentacle at Naruto that was impossible to dodge at this distance. The sand just slammed right into Naruto, who just disappeared in a cloud of smoke, startling both Gaara and the crowd. Gaara just stared at the place where Naruto used to be until he felt his sand move behind him. He quickly turned around and saw Naruto ready to punch him, but luckily his sand protected him. But just like last time when Naruto got hit, a cloud of smoke appeared. Gaara then felt his sand move all around him, and when he looked up to the sky he saw dozens of Narutos descending on him. He smirked. No matter how many there were, one of them was the real one and his sand would deal with him. His sand shot upwards, destroying clone after clone until the sky was filled with smoke from the dispelling clones. Gaara looked around and saw that every Naruto had disappeared, which didn't make any sense, but before he could react a fist connected with his chin, launching him up in the air. Naruto had used Doton, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, to get underground and position himself right under Gaara while distracting him with Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. When Gaara destroyed all of them, he shot up, punching Gaara straight in the face. That wasn't the end of Naruto's attack, however, and a last Kage Bunshin clone appeared above Gaara and sent him back down by planting his heel into Gaara's stomach. Gaara crashed straight into the ground, creating a crater, indicating just how much power Naruto's kick must have had. The crowd was shocked into silence, and a lot of them were sitting on the edge of their seat trying to see through the dust. Anko and the rest were cheering like crazy for Naruto, but each of them knew that this wasn't the end of the fight. In fact, they would be surprised if Gaara was even slightly hurt by this attack, but they cheered all the same. On the other side of the balcony, Gaara's teammates could only stare, not believing their eyes. This was the second Leaf Genin who had succeeded in hitting Gaara. First was the freaky-looking taijutsu guy in green, and now this blonde Genin did the same thing. They could only imagine how Gaara would react, but they knew it meant trouble. Before the dust cleared, however, a large tentacle of sand slammed Naruto into the wall on the other side of the arena, resulting in a large crack and hurting Naruto. He dropped on the ground trying to overcome the pain and forced himself to stand up. Luckily he healed pretty quick, so if he had an injury he would heal in matter of minutes, as long if the injury wasn't too severe. Meanwhile the dust had cleared and Gaara could be seen standing inside the crater grinning like a maniac. A silent yet crazy laughter filled the arena, and soon Gaara was laughing so hard that most people thought he had lost it. That's it, Uzumaki Naruto. Show me more, I want to fight you full out. No more holding back or I kill you right here in front of your so-called precious people. Gaara said, grinning, his eyes bloodshot. Naruto sighed. He had hoped that he could keep this until later in the finals, but he knew that he had no chance of winning if he held back. He looked up the stands and looked for Anko, asking for permission for what was to come. Anko knew what he wanted, and she agreed that it was necessary not only so that Naruto could win but also that he would survive. Naruto, it's okay. Release the seal, you have my permission. She screamed for everyone to hear. She enjoyed the confused faces on Kurenai and the rest of the shinobi gathered around her. Naruto nodded and placed his hand on his chest before starting to concentrate for a moment. After a few seconds he seemed to gather some chakra and said, Fuinjutsu, Zenryoku Gente, Kaiho. For a second nothing happened, but then chakra seemed to explode from Naruto's body, engulfing him in a large ball of chakra and creating a crater from the force the chakra had. Slowly the chakra returned to a normal level, but Naruto seemed to be rejuvenated back to full health. The people in the crowd just stared at him, not fully understanding what had happened. Anko was bombarded with questions and she was only too happy to answer them without revealing too much, of course. Guess you guys want some kind of explanation, huh? Fine. The seal Naruto just released is a restriction seal. The seal was created by the Yondaime Hokage and he was the first one to use it, Naruto being the second. Its function is simple but effective. The jutsu seals a certain amount of chakra away at any given time. The stronger you are, the more chakra is sealed away. According to his notes, Yondaime sealed away about half of his chakra outside of major battles. Still with me? She asked. When she saw everyone nodding, she continued. In Naruto's case, however, the jutsu seals away about 10% of his full power at all time. Over time this will increase. The downside to this jutsu is that it takes a lot of time to work. In fact, it only started working after we got back from the country of the wave. That was about 3 months after he applied to himself, and you can't release it for at least 6 months after applying it. She continued. Wait, so you're saying that Naruto has been fighting all this time with 10% of his strength and chakra sealed away? Kiba asked, slightly angered that Naruto didn't tell them about this. Don't be mad at Naruto, Kiba. I ordered him not to tell or use it without my permission. He wanted to tell you guys all about it, but he made a promise not to. Anko said while placing her hand on Kiba's shoulders. This relaxed Kiba a bit, since he knew that Naruto would never break a promise to Anko no matter what. The other genin was still trying to get over the shock that Naruto hadn't been fighting at full power before now. But it's only 10% right. Will it make that much difference? Chuji asked Anko. 10% may not seem a lot, but I assure you that it's quite the opposite. Fighting at full power is very different, you'll see soon enough. Anko smirked. While Anko was explaining what had happened, Naruto had been busy getting used to feeling at full power again. It was strange and slightly uncomfortable for a minute, but now he felt at ease and ready. He hoped his friends would forgive him for not telling him about this, but he would worry about that later. He slowly unsheathed his sword before starting to walk back to the middle of the arena. Since Gaara wanted to fight without holding back, he gladly accepted the challenge. He wondered what would happen now that they decided to go full out. Gaara watched as Naruto took his sword and started walking straight at him. He was feeling very excited about this fight. The blonde was without a doubt a strong opponent worthy of fighting. The demon inside him was screaming for blood, and Gaara would obey like he always did. When he saw that Naruto had reached the middle of the arena, he attacked without hesitating. He made his sand attack, forming a long spear of sand and shot it toward the blonde. Naruto saw the attack coming and calmly raised his sword in the air before bringing it down using one of his kenjutsu techniques called Tengoku Seiden Kei's no Jutsu. The attack met the spear head-on, cleanly cutting it in half and making it miss Naruto by a few inches. His attack, however, just continued towards Gaara and impacted on the shield made of sand. Gaara's eyes widened seeing that Naruto had defeated his attack so easily and ordered his sand to make several spears and sent them at Naruto, who frowned and prepared himself. When he saw the spears heading towards him, Naruto ducked under the first and jumped over the second. In the air he once again raised his sword and used his technique to destroy the third spear. Landing, he twisted around before aiming at Gaara again. His attack impacted on Gaara's shield, which was barely blocking it. Seeing this, he figured that he might be able to cut through the shield if he used more chakra, but using the Tengoku Seiden Kei's no Jutsu so many times would eat away at his reserves. So he decided that instead of using his techniques, he would just use his sword to cut the sand. Gaara just gathered sand around him before launching several tentacles at Naruto all at the same time. Naruto dodged several of them and cut through the others, trying to save his chakra for his own attacks. The crowd was watching as Naruto was jumping around the arena, evading the sand or cut through it with his sword. They were rooted in their seats, staring at the fight, which was quickly beginning to even better than the first match. Even the Kazekage and the Hokage seemed to be very interested in the fight. Anko and the rest were cheering for Naruto, Anko for him to finish the fight before he got hurt, the rest for him to win. Naruto's speed was nowhere near Lee's, so he had a lot of trouble trying to get Gaara off guard, and keeping away from the sand was getting harder and harder. It seemed that Gaara had pulled out the big guns this time. He was getting tired from all the running around. Even with his stamina, this was getting very bothersome. He would have to find a way to attack Gaara, but for now he needed to deal with the sand. What's the matter, Uzumaki? Is running away the only thing you can do? Fight me head on, if you don't I will kill all those you love. Gaara said while following Naruto with his eyes. Naruto just responded by jumping on one of the tentacles and started running on top of it. He ducked another one before cutting his way to Gaara, who just waited patiently for him. Naruto then made several Kage Bunshin who started clearing the way for him. One by one they cut a path through the sand, protecting him. He landed on the ground again and prepared to cut Gaara across the chest, but once again the shield that had protected Gaara before appeared and stopped his sword. From the sand several spikes shot out, and before Naruto could dodge them, one LD his left shoulder. Naruto used his sword to cut the spike and quickly retreated. His shoulder was bleeding pretty badly and his left arm was as good as useless. Even with his advanced healing, it would take a while before he would be able to use it again. That's it, Uzumaki Naruto, give me more of your delicious blood. Gaara laughed maniacally. Excuse me if I find the fact that you want more of my tasty blood somewhat gross and disgusting. Naruto said while holding his shoulder. He sheathed his sword, knowing that he wouldn't be able to use it efficiently anymore without the use of his left arm. This fight is the best, I want more. When I defeat you, will once again prove my existence. Gaara said while sand seemed to surround him. Naruto was getting worried. Gaara was acting more and more crazy, and that couldn't be good. He watched as Gaara disappeared in a large ball of sand and wondered what would happen next. Somehow he knew that he needed to stop whatever was going to happen next, and he had just the technique to do it. He turned his head and looked straight at the Sandaime and smiled. Oi Jichin, better watch closely, I have a surprise for you. Naruto yelled. The Sandaime wondered what Naruto was talking about, and he nodded, showing he was watching very closely. But before Naruto could do anything, two persons appeared right in the middle of the arena. The crowd and Naruto could only stare at how both Uchiha Sasuke and Hitaki Kakashi stood there like they didn't have a care in the world. Genma quickly made his way over to them. Sorry, are we too late? Kakashi asked. Idiots, you're disturbing a match. The match between Sasuke and Kankuro has been postponed. Now get the hell out of the arena before I disqualify your student. Genma ordered. You can't disqualify me. I'm an Uchiha. Sasuke sneered arrogantly. Listen Genin, I don't care who you are. Frankly, you should have been disqualified for coming late in the first place. Now get out of here before I make you. Genma said while staring Sasuke down. Kakashi quickly intervened before Sasuke's arrogance and pride made him lose the match before he even got to fight. He grabbed Sasuke by the shoulder and used Shunshin no Jutsu to the balcony where the other Junin and Genin were waiting. Naruto just smiled at seeing Sasuke being put in his place but quickly returned to the task at hand. He looked towards Gaara and started concentrating chakra in his hand, and a moment later a sphere made of chakra appeared in his hand. He started running slowly towards Gaara while running faster and faster and brought his arm behind him with the sphere neatly resting in his palm. Just when he reached Gaara, he ducked and evaded the spikes that came out of the ball and slammed his hand into the ball, yelling out, Rasengan. Naruto's Rasengan penetrated the sand, forcing it away from the sheer pressure. The sand exploded all around him and he continued his trajectory. The Rasengan was still going strong when it slammed into Gaara's stomach, and for a brief second it seemed that Gaara didn't feel it, but then he was propelled backward, spinning around before he crashed into the wall. Gaara hit the wall so hard that a huge dent appeared and he fell to the ground on his stomach. Naruto was breathing heavily. Using the Rasengan and maintaining it after he destroyed the ball of sand had taken more chakra than he would have thought. Nonetheless, the result was very satisfying. The crowd was silent, you could literally hear a needle fall. Naruto turned towards Sandaime and grinned as he saw the shocked face on the old man. Alright Naruto, you got him, way to go. Anko cheered loudly, enjoying the shocked faces of her colleagues and fellow shinobi. When the crowd heard Anko cheering, the stadium exploded into cheering and screaming, each of them telling how shocked they were. Anko, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that the Rasengan? Kakashi asked, bewildered. Never had he imagined seeing that jutsu again. The Rasengan was his sensei's personal jutsu after all. Yep, it sure was. Bet you're wondering how he learned it, aren't you? Anko said, enjoying every minute of it. This was perfect. Now everyone would know just how strong and talented Naruto truly was. This was why Naruto and Anko had decided to use the Rasengan for the first time during this exam. But, how did Naruto learn it? It is an A-rank jutsu created by the Yondaime Hokage. Not only that, but it took him 3 years to master it. Kakashi said. Sorry Kakashi, but if you want details you'll have to ask Naruto. But let me tell you this, it took Naruto only a month to master it. She said before turning back to the arena, shocking all those around her. The rest of the Junin and Genin gathered there were shocked at what they had heard. Naruto had succeeded in mastering a jutsu created by the Yondaime in only 1 month. They knew he wasn't the same last anymore, but this was unbelievable. Some of the older shinobi recognized the jutsu, and soon the whole stadium was talking about the legendary Yondaime and how Naruto knew his personal techniques. So what? I bet that loser jutsu is nothing compared to my Chidori. Sasuke said while narrowing his eyes. Sasuke, I may be your Junin sensei, but if you insult the Yondaime again I will kick your ass, am I clear? Kakashi said while glaring at him. And one more thing, the Chidori was based on the Rasengan, and I can assure you that its power is nothing like the Rasengan. Sasuke just ignored Kakashi, but inside he was mad like hell that Naruto had such a powerful attack. In his eyes Naruto was a nobody, a loser, and he didn't deserve such power. He would have to use his Sharingan to copy it if Naruto used it again. The Sandaime just looked at Naruto with unmistaken pride in his eyes. You little scamp, how long have you been able to do that technique? He wondered. He could see the shinobi in the crowd looking at Naruto, and he couldn't be more happier for his adopted grandson. They were looking at him with a small sign of respect and admiration. He knew that Naruto was as good as promoted to Chunin just by demonstrating this technique. He wondered how many secrets Naruto still held from him. While this was going on, Naruto was slowly recovering from his exhaustion, and although his shoulder wouldn't be healed before the end of the match, he was pretty sure that it wouldn't take much longer. He started making his way over to where Gaara was, hoping that this would be the end of the match. Gaara couldn't believe the pain he was in. Whatever this jutsu was, it had done some major damage to him, and not even his sand had been able to protect him from it. He was sure that he had broken several bones and he could hardly get up. Strange thing was that he felt pretty calm and relaxed. He remembered how he had felt just before the attack. He had been losing control and would have used his demon's chakra, but now his head was clear. He slowly turned around so he would be on his back looking at the blue sky. Just then Naruto reached him and sat down next to him. The crowd was silent, wondering what was going to happen. Feeling yourself again? For a moment I thought you lost it, Naruto asked. For a moment I did lose it, Gaara just said. Naruto nodded, showing that he would answer any question Gaara may have. You said that you and I are alike. What did you mean by that? Gaara said while looking at Naruto. Almost 14 years ago, one of the Beiyu attacked Konoha. It was the Kyuubi, if you want to know. It destroyed everything on its path and killed dozens of people until the Yondaime Hokage managed to defeat it. But he didn't kill it, or rather he couldn't kill it. However, he sealed the beast into a baby. That baby would protect Konoha for the rest of his life by being a prison for the Kyuubi. Guess who the baby was? Naruto said to him. You. The Kyuubi is sealed within you, isn't it? Gaara said, understanding what Naruto meant. Yeah, the Yondaime wanted me to be a hero, but the people of Konoha saw me as the Kyuubi itself, hating me, shunning me. They wanted nothing to do with me. They even forbade me to enter shops. In the academy my teachers ignored me and so on. I was anything but a hero to the people. Naruto continued. So why do you fight to protect them? They deserve whatever you give them. Don't you want revenge? How do you ignore the stares and the hatred? Gaara said, not understanding how Naruto could be so relaxed about all of this. Ah, but you see, there were people who saw me as Uzumaki Naruto, people who cared for me even if it took a while to find them. I had Sandaime Jichin, Iruka-sensei, Anko-chan, my teammates, and Kurenai-sensei. I fight for them, I fight for the village and the people they love, and that's why I want to be strong so that they never have to know the loneliness I have known. Naruto said while helping Gaara to sit up. Unlike me, you had nobody, you were seen as a weapon, and to be honest, I'm disgusted a father would do such a thing to his own son. But you're not alone anymore, Gaara. If you want, I'll be your friend and help you in every way I can. We have a difficult future ahead of us. People fear us and hate us, so it is up to us to make them change their opinion. One day they'll know that we're not the monsters we carry inside us. That's what I believe, and that's what I'm working for. Naruto said, grabbing Gaara with his good arm, pulling him to his feet. A friend. I'll like that. Uzumaki Naruto, the match is yours. I have utterly and completely lost to you, Gaara said, announcing his defeat to the stadium. You may have lost the match, Gaara, but you gained a friend, Naruto said before giving Gaara a firm handshake, and for the first time in his life Gaara's hand didn't move to protect him. The crowd just exploded in applause for the two genin who gave it their all for the match and cheered for both of them. Anko and company just raced down toward the arena wanting to be with their lover and friend. Even Sandaime was clapping his hands with pride for the two young shinobi before him. They had fought with honor and had made the villages proud beyond anything. Genma just stepped forward and announced Naruto as the winner of the match. After everybody had calmed down enough, Naruto was guided to the sickbay where they would treat his wounds, although his shoulder was practically healed. It appeared that it looked worse than it was, and he could already move his arm around again. I knew you could do it, Naruto-kun. You better get healed fast because tonight I'm giving you a reward, Anko said softly while holding him so close Naruto could feel every bit of her body, making him blush like crazy. No matter what, Anko always could make him blush, he thought. Anko, however, enjoyed every minute of it. She loved to tease him and she would take every opportunity to do so. Gaara was escorted to where his teammates were standing and he motioned them to come closer. We will not participate in the attack. If you fight the Leaf Shinobi, I will personally stop you. Do I make myself clear? Gaara threatened them. His teammates, who were actually Gaara's older brother and sister, just nodded, not wanting to deal with Gaara's wrath. They had never seen him this way before, and Gaara's sister Temari was almost crying when she saw some form of emotion in Gaara's usual cold eyes. Inside the arena, Genma looked at the destruction caused by Gaara and Naruto and decided that they would need to clean it up a little, so he announced that they would have an hour break before starting the next match. The crowd was happy that they would have some time to stretch their leg and maybe get something to drink, so nobody complained. Sandaime decided to have a word with Naruto, congratulating him on a well-fought match. So he excused him to the Kazekage and made his way over to the balcony where Naruto was resting. He smiled when he saw that everybody wanted to speak with Naruto or wanted to see him from up close. Luckily he was the Hokage, so people let him pass without making a fuss. Well, Naruto, do you have any more surprises for today? He asked, smiling. Everybody looked up to see the Hokage himself speaking to Naruto. Most of them knew that they had a close relationship, but others were surprised to see the Hokage coming all the way over here to speak to a genin. You? Well, I might have a few left. Naruto said, grinning like crazy. Try not to give me any more near heart attacks, please. How long have you been able to do the Rasengan? Sandaime said while lighting his pipe. I mastered it while we were training in the forest. I kept it a secret until now so that I could surprise you. Naruto replied. Excuse me to interrupt, Naruto, but Anko said that you mastered it in 1 month. Is this true? Kakashi asked. Naruto just nodded, not wanting to brag too much. Both Kakashi and Sandaime just stared at him and started shaking their head. They had trouble believing that Naruto had mastered it in such a short time. After that, Kakashi started explaining to the other genin about how the Yondaime had been his Junin sensei when he was younger, and that he knew from experience just how powerful the Rasengan was. He had seen it in action more than enough, he remembered, during the war with Iwa. Sandaime too told some stories about when the Yondaime was younger, and Naruto listened, glad to hear about his father's youth while he rested. The hour went quickly and everyone had a great time listening to the stories Sandaime told about the time he was just a genin, or about some of the things he had experienced. They knew the Sandaime, but never had they spoken to him in such a relaxed way, just having fun. They wished that they would have the chance to do it again, and Sandaime assured them that his office was always open for them. After that, he made his way back to his guest, ready for the finals to continue. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.